So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot.
Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Kick it.
Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
My mic sounds. My mic sounds. You're supposed to finish that.
My mic sounds.
No, nice. Thank you. You know what? Crowd participation. He said he was not going to talk, but he couldn't let you just slip on that. Like, come on, Dr. Taylor. How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Listen, welcome to another episode of the LaTangela Show podcast. And I think today it's safe to say that I have officially outdone myself. I got the man behind the music, the man with the plan. Like, he's a visionary. He makes it happen, and he's bringing all the noise. During season, off season, I mean, do you ever have any off days?
Yeah, I take some sometimes.
Okay, because these are questions that need answers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, none other than the Dr. Kedric Taylor, Director of Bands for the Southern University, with the world-renowned Human Jukebox and those fabulous dancing dolls.
The best band in the world.
Absolutely. Often imitated, but never duplicated. You know, you got people...
LaTangela created.
No, I couldn't, right? And the crazy thing is, it's like I'm always in awe. Every single time that you all put out your efforts, it's always like it's the best effort. And I know that's stemming from great leadership. You stand on the shoulders of many giants that came before you. And of course, one that is just, I mean, if you say Southern University, Human Jukebox, Dr. Griggs is just right there, right?
Correct.
But I've got questions that need answers for you, Dr. Taylor.
Okay. Let's see if I can answer them.
We hope so. How is it that you knew that you wanted to walk in this role? It's one thing of wanting to be in the band or wanting to be a musician, but to actually fill that void and say, you know what, director of bands, with all of the pressure and all of the level of expectancies that come along with it, I'm up for the job.
I don't think anyone ever knows that they're ready to do a certain job. I think your paths are ordered, and my prayers has always been I wanted to be in a power position so I can go and tell young people, you know, the truth. Coming from where I come from, a lot of people don't make it out. So being that, you know, I did get out and I'm able to see how things are done and the standard, I want to be able to help other young people not have the same issues that I had. Like, you know, if you already went and bought these scents that you go out here and get, you want to tell the other young people how not to go and buy something that someone already paid the price for. So it's kind of like letting them know that, hey, guys, you can make it out no matter what. And God just gave me the opportunity to do it through music.
Absolutely. And, you know, you've been through the process. So no matter how grueling of a process the students are telling you right now, Dr. Taylor, you got us out here practicing. Dr. Taylor, you got us out here doing all this extra. Dr. Taylor, well, you went through that process. So it's not like you're setting them up for something and you're still going through their process with them day by day. So tell us a little bit about the process of even joining the Human Jukebox.
Well, it's just like anything else, but I will say one of the unique things about the Human Jukebox is it's a legacy.
Right.
So there's a blueprint that, like when you say Southern University Human Jukebox, you think of who?
Dr. Griggs.
And he didn't even start the band, but he put such a huge impact on the band that it touched many lives.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just through music. It was the life lessons that you learn. So you learn so many things being in the Human Jukebox that it relates to life.
Absolutely.
Everybody always come back and say, man, if I wouldn't have been in the band, I wouldn't have been able to do this on this job. And it didn't even have a career in music. It's like lawyers, doctors, whatever it is that they do when they leave Southern University, that band prepare you for it.
Right.
But coming into the band, you never know what you're getting into. You learning a lot of music. And I was teaching my class this morning. I was telling the students, I put a note on the paper, but that note has a meaning.
Okay, now you're about to get deep. Now, hold on a second. Now. Of course it has a meaning. It means play. Now, if it gets deeper than that, you're going to have to walk us through it.
Oh, most definitely. it's just like a movie. It's just like a movie. When a movie comes on, if you don't pay attention to the beginning, there's a plot in the beginning that's setting you up for what's about to happen throughout the movie.
Right.
And it'll come back later in the movie and show you, and like, oh, that's what that tree meant.
Right.
You know, so every note has a meaning, and that's how life is. In life, there's a meaning for everything that you go through. You grow from it, you learn from it, and that's how the music does. It grows, and it gets to a climax to where this is the pinnacle of the highlight of this song. So
absolutely,
that note means something no matter where it is.
You know, and as a musician, you understand the journey of the process. When it comes down to the music, you hear it, but music is like a timestamp. You know, it can give you a musical journey. It takes you places. It takes you back. It can take you forward. It can make you just love the moment that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, so whenever you're coming up with all of the selections, because you play for a large audience.
Correct.
And it's hard to read them in the moment. And there's a lot of prior preparation that goes into it beforehand. So before we even get on the yard, 50-yard line ready for a good game, you have already inked it, you have already arranged it, and we're going to get into that too, because I have some of my favorite arrangements, and we just need to break it down for a second, but that's coming up. I'm taking you there. But what's the thought process of saying, I may need to play this, I may need to play that, the band might really dig this, or is this the temperament for this game?
So I always gauge music by the audience. And this is one of Dr. Greg's quote. He always said, educate and then entertain.
Okay.
The education part is you're telling the audience, hey, this is what we can do as musicians. It's like showing off what we can do. But we also going to entertain you by playing something that you can feel. Okay. You know, and we try to do something geared towards the audience in which we know we performing for. That was one of the things that we didn't understand about Dr. Greg's, but he was a showmanship. Absolutely. He was a showmanship. I mean, when he show up, he said the show don't start without me.
And meant it too.
Did he mean it? Oh, it was funny to us because we knew he wasn't playing.
Right.
Like, he really believed that the show don't start until he get there. And what he meant by that is, for most people, they took it as being arrogant, but he took it as, I know what people want to see. Yeah. I know what it is that entertains the people. And by knowing music is the art of feeling, I know what makes people feel what I want you to feel. Yeah. So it'll be things that we wouldn't want to do as students in the band. Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people don't know that, but we'll say, no, Doc, we don't want to do that. He like,
you ain't got no wants.
No, this how you ain't listening. It's like, Doc, I don't want, you ain't listening. And he just would keep saying that. He would never get mad and say, you just do what I say. He don't do that. That's not how he operates. What he would say was, you ain't listening. Right. Then when we get to the event, we end up still having to do it right. But when we do it, the people go crazy.
Right. Now you're listening?
And he'll come back and say, my man. And he wouldn't say, I told you so. He didn't have to do that because he let the work speak for itself. Yeah. And that's why, like, it was hard not to follow someone like him. You know, it just took for him to show up to an event and he knew what the people wanted. He would even tell the assistants, like, we ain't doing that. That ain't going to work. Mm-hmm. What song was that? Don't play it no more. They don't play it. But they entrusted in him with that type of mind because they knew he knew how to entertain. Yeah. Yeah. And he, like I said, that's why he knew other bands were never going to outdo Southern because Southern was that band. Yeah. And he made that blueprint for Southern because he knew what people wanted. And that's how I try to think now as a person sitting in the audience. What would I like to see?
And I see that you're bringing a lot of those things back, right? Oh. I don't think that you've ever had a moment to where we could say the band slacked, but we've always seen it elevate. Now that you're still stacking it, I'm starting to see a lot more of these drills and these, because I'm sitting there watching, well entertained, but my mind is starting to calculate it a little differently. Like, hold on a second. Now, how do you want me to be on the right line to tell you the score? We ain't have time to practice this. The score just got on the scoreboard. And now we have to go out here as a band, hit all the notes, make sure we got enough wind to make it happen. Don't step out of line because if you mess this up, everybody will notice. You know, that's stress. That's real life stress. And I'm having anxiety attacks just thinking about it. So, I mean, what does a practice day typically look like? Even outside of the music, I'm talking about for the field show. What does that look like?
So everything is basic fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Even with sports, you practice fundamentals. And able to create plays, you have fundamentals.
Okay.
Even with football, you got fundamentals. You see them run drills, and eventually they translate to making plays. As opposed to with the band, the same thing. We have these basic fundamentals that we learn, and once we learn those fundamentals, we able to create shows based on, because we march 8 to 5, so most of our drills are symmetrical. We don't do anything pretty much that the left and the right side not going to be symmetrical on.
Okay.
And that's just how we format. It's just like geometry. And everything that we do,
You clock me out right there. He lost me, man. Say geometry. I say, well, there you go.
I actually was good in geometry, so I can talk about geometry. Algebra 1 and geometry, yeah, I'm in the game. When you start talking about trigonometry, then it's like, okay. But when I think about geometry, you just think about shapes. Yeah. You're thinking about different things that you can make. And so we start translating that with music. Like how, like we did the 5 Heartbeats. We were thinking about, man, everybody's seen the movie. Uh-huh. Let's reenact the movie. Everybody and their mamas let's sit there and watch that movie.
Really?
Every time it come on
every time. And don't talk to me while it's on. I'm watching it like it's the first time I've ever seen it.
Exactly. And then and you can reenact scenes, and when you can bring that type of poetry to the field, it speaks volume when the instruments can emulate. And then you can actually add in singles with it, but you got the full band behind you. Yeah. And you got these guys singing, and you make hearts. It just sets the whole atmosphere to where everybody can, enjoy it because we've seen the movie. Yes. We can relate to it.
It's a timestamp.
Yep. We know the songs, and it's a sing-along that we want to sing with you guys.
Yeah.
So I always tell the guys when we write stuff, get stuff that people can relate to, notable things, and we'll educate them in the process as well. I'm not saying that you don't educate people by finding new music that someone has never heard before. Like, Mr. Knight was good for that. He would find songs. Well, I didn't know it as a kid, but stuff like Cold Hearted Snake. And they were like, well, you ain't know Paula Abdul? I'm like, no, I didn't.
What were you listening to?
Southern Band made that song popular.
Yeah.
They did. They
did it one solid.
Everybody in the country started playing Cold Hearted Snake. And it was like, they heard Southern play that. Mm-hmm. And they made it popular. So, stuff like that. Who do I turn to? Just those type of songs like that, like people might listen to, but it's not as popular. But then when you get other schools to start doing it,
that means
you made it popular.
You raised the bar. Oh, you said the standard? Bet.
Just like talking out the side of your neck. A lot of people played it, but who made it popular?
That's true.
So I just think about it in that way. Like, you got all the PWIs playing it now, but what did you think they heard it from? Mm-hmm.
Do you have a musical background outside of just like wanting to play the instruments? Like, you have a musical family? Or
So my mom sings. Okay. My dad, he sings as well.
Okay, so that means you sing too then?
I can hold my tone. I can hold a note now.
Okay.
I'm not Barry White and I'm not Luther, but if you put me on the mic and put me in the right key, you got to put me in A flat.
Okay.
Keep me in A flat. And I'm going to be good and comfortable. As long as I don't go above an F, I'm going to be in good pitch and good tone. Mm-hmm. See, that's what it's all about.
I like it.
Good pitch and good tone.
And good tone.
Now, when I have to go to the higher notes, I'm going to have to hold my head up. They tell you.
Yeah, hold your head up. Take your time, baby. Take
raise
your time.
Eyebrows.
That or raise your entertainment level so that way we don't notice the difference, right?
There you go. They play that music louder. See, when you control the music, you put that key a little louder and you can kind of go away from the mic.
See, that's what we hear. Right there.
But my sister played in Jackson State Band in '90 when the boom was really the boom.
Right.
Motown boom. So I'll leave that alone. But anyway, my brother came to Southern University as well. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of the musicality came from. My entire family sing or play some type of instrument.
That is awesome.
So we used to grow up beating on pots and pans. And,
right.
My parents got us a drum set from the pawn shop. And I was on it like white on rice every day they leave. So every morning we wake up and turn on these gospel songs and play the tracks.
What?
Rain on Us. Oh, I had all the feelings. But
I'm here for
it. Jumpy Key, we were on it. But we did a lot of R&B. Yeah. And I had a hand-me-down trumpet that I started messing with in 7th grade. and I just kind of had a feel for it. So by my junior year, I was writing music for the band. I ain't say it was good, but
I was doing it.
It was good for that moment.
Right.
Oh man, I thought I was doing something. And to my brother and some of my older brothers came back and they were like, "That's trash." And I was like, "Oh man."
At least you didn't take it to heart and
But
quit.
hey, guess what? It was good for us.
Yeah.
We didn't know no better. But that's where it all started at. But I didn't. Little did I know God was preparing me at that moment.
Yeah.
If you can lead your peers, you can pretty much lead anybody. And I was running out band camps. You name it, I was doing it at the high school level. Like our band wasn't as good as the other bands because me as a student doing that, but I was gaining experience.
Absolutely.
You didn't realize that, but experience is what trumps any kind of talent if you've had experience doing it. Like
That's
you,
true.
like you good at what you do, and you are always on your job because you could tell like when you just
Thank you.
a natural when it comes to the mic. That's why I call you the voice.
Thank you.
So that's kind of how it is when it comes to music. Preparation. It's like I'm a natural at just getting in front of a group and just being myself.
Yeah.
And bringing the best out of that group, just from my experience from doing it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing too because you have such a large group. Let's talk about it. I mean, this Human Jukebox is massive.
Yeah.
You see other bands show up, I'll be like, yeah, we're gonna feed them good, let them have a great time. But boy, when they see this Human Jukebox come out, how many do you have in this band right now?
Well, currently we have about 290. If you include the dancing dolls, we have about 300. So
who are doing a fabulous job.
They have superseded the expectations of. If you know the arts, these young ladies are phenomenal.
They are.
I'm in awe because I'm not a person that just used to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we were in the band, we didn't really pay attention to, dolls like everybody else did. But as the director, I have developed a new way of looking at the young ladies.
It's a different level of appreciation.
But their talent is crazy. Like, I don't think people understand what these young ladies are doing. Like, they are putting a production on the field at halftime, and they're not doing like the spread and pop and all that and pelvic thrust. They are actually
all of
dancing.
the styles. They're taking you on an experience of their own, right? It's almost like if you're looking for the next level of excellence, you can't find it anywhere else other than right there. And they are doing it.
They
style and grace.
They are the standard.
Yeah.
They are the standard. I mean, other teams see them and they, a lot of people trying to imitate it. If you look at it, a lot of teams have changed their style.
Yeah.
If you go back, many years, and that's what makes Southern University so unique. That band, the style and way we do everything, it hasn't changed. But we are being more innovative and we're being creative in the process of keeping what made us different and unique from everyone else. So that's why we always say often imitate but never duplicate. You can't duplicate the original copy.
Absolutely. And everyone on your squad, they're doing it with poise, they're doing it with grace, and you have an amazing team.
Correct.
The level of sacrifice that they see the leadership putting in to make this happen, I think that makes the students themselves raise the bar to say that we want to rise to the occasion. We really want to give it our all. And then when we see it all come together on a Saturday night in the stadium or whenever they're on the world's largest stages, it's just like it's so massive. If you had to choose so far, because I don't want you giving too much away before we get to the battle of the bands and before we get to all the other stuff, if you had to choose one of your favorite arrangements so far, what would it be? Because I've already picked mine, so you go ahead.
It's one of those feelings again.
Okay.
It depends on the moment.
Okay.
Music is like the art of feeling. So it's like what you're feeling at that moment. So I will say this, musicality wise, My Fun and Valentine definitely was a very musical selection. Not only did it take you on a musical adventure, but it also was unique because of the chord structures and the things that's in it. It's like I always, and the kids laugh at, well, they know what I'm talking about, but I say gumbo. And it's like, they just know exactly. I don't even have to call the song because when I was teaching it to them, I said, I don't want to hear anybody sticking out. I just want it to come together like gumbo. So I don't want to taste the salt. I don't want to taste the pepper. I don't want to know how much roux you put. I want to just taste some good gumbo.
Yeah.
And when I put it to them like that, they understood, and it just came together and formed And I was like, yes.
Yes.
So when I think about musicality and just the thickness of those chords and the way they move, My Funny Valentine so far has been one of my favorite. And when you think about getting crunk,
Okay.
I'm thinking about Annihilate. I'm thinking about we just annihilated somebody. So hey, I'm jumping through the roof, right?
Yeah.
So I think every song has its lane. Just like you got your praise songs in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got your song that you do right before the pastor. You try to mellow
Bring
it down.
them on up.
Try to
Bring
get
them on back.
yeah, give everybody mind, and then you got to call it altar. So I think when I think about music, that's what I think about. There's a song for every situation.
Yeah.
And that's what Dr. Griggs was good at when he was thinking about educating and entertaining. Because when you go in the inauguration parade, you're not going to play some, like that. You're going to have something that symbolizes marching and something that's precise. And I always tell the students, they laugh when we playing marches. I'm like, hey, you got to think about it like the ruler of Samunda coming through. King Joffrey Joffrey. Jump. That's gonna make me want to move, and it made me feel royalty, But that's a different style. So that's why that's why we're the Human Jukebox.
That's right. You can say the same thing to the other ones. They wouldn't catch it to go right over their head.
Oh, yeah,
see, right
definitely.
here, it's a safe space. They understand it here. They know us here.
But see, that's what you do though. You know what song to call at what moment to get the people going.
Yeah.
Whatever mode it is, you know exactly what quarter to stick in the jukebox.
That's the one.
And you just got one button to push though.
Exactly. But you know what, Dr. Taylor, y'all have been doing some amazing things even off the field. I read in the news, because I like to read the news with the Did You Know news brief, that you have gone into this relationship to where now the Human Jukebox got their own merchandise. I mean, this is like the first time in history. So I mean, I always do my homework. I'm a fan. I'm a supporter. I am here for all of the great things, right?
I love it.
Tell us a little bit about that and how can we get our shirts? Because everybody else out here, they got to earn that S on their chest. We just want to support it. So if we got to put an S on our back, it's the same thing. We just want to support.
So back in 2014, we started a logo for fans because, like I said, it's a unique shirt to have. When you have the S with the note, it's for the band members so they define who they are. And it's like I'm not gonna say a fraternity because it's not like a fraternity, but it is a family to where it's like these are our family shirts. You're not gonna put on the Johnson's family shirt
unless you're a Johnson,
unless you're a Johnson, right?
Membership got its privileges.
Yeah, there you go.
Members only.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like a country club. Only members are allowed to wear the certain, polo shirt. But that's kind of how it is with the S and the O. So we wanted to create a shirt for all the fans, all the supporters, the Jaguar Nation who didn't march in the band.
Yeah.
And we created that shirt, that brand, and that logo because it's so unique to have a shirt that symbolizes something so big like the Human Jukebox. And we've never sold it.
Yeah.
Like, we never had it in stores to where the band can actually get money coming back to them, So now
let us put some coins in the jukebox. Like, what you doing?
Yeah. And they used to say stick a quarter in it, but everybody got these Cash App, they got these coins now. So
right.
At least they can get something back in return. They can have the shirts. So it's gonna go in different vendors are gonna sell it. And, a percentage of it is going to go back to the band department.
That is amazing.
Yep.
And I know that a lot of scholarship opportunities, we see the band performing, but what we fail to realize sometimes is that these are some of the most dedicated student musicians, at a professional level, and the level of sacrifice that they put in the classroom, that they put in the band room, that they put in on the field, and then they're still doing community outreach. It's just like it's a never-ending story. And then with this guy and his team, nobody gets to sit still, So we can't say thank you enough for your leadership and for the inspiration that you all give to those students because it's necessary. And it's a family. And so many of our students are so far away from home. This very well may be the only family that they have in their circle, even when times get tough.
That's so true. I don't think people understand the amount of time that we spend with these students. The amount of time I look at Dr. Griggs. I know we keep bringing him up, but man, Dr. Griggs was away from his family so much to be able to create that product that he created. So I'm glad he was able to get his flowers before he was transitioned, because he put so much time into it, and
Right.
nobody understands it to the level that he had to sacrifice his personal family. You know, they had to share him with the rest of the world.
Yes.
And I don't think people acknowledge that enough. Like, you know, that his kids basically, you know, live their life through the Southern University Human Jukebox because that's what their dad always was.
Yeah.
You know, and to have your parent always point into so many others, you know, I can imagine how that can feel towards them, you know. And I just thank them for allowing him to do it all the years and letting him share his gift with these with us.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the amount of information that I gained from him was, I probably gained more life lessons from Dr. Griggs than I did music.
That's big.
Yeah, most definitely. But that's what it's all about. And I tell the students now, I'm like, if we're not pouring into you, it don't matter how high I go as a director or how many degrees I earn, if the people around me are not being positively impacted and are growing, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so I tell them, I was like, hey guys, we're not gonna be here all night. We have a very great program, but what about you? Like, what about their mental health? What about their academics?
Man, listen,
Like,
that's a whole nother story. Do you
You're
hear
not
me?
gonna come to Southern University and march in this band and not gonna have something more than what we taught you in the band to show for that you came to Southern University and marched in this band. You need to get your degree.
Yeah.
So that's what we put more of an emphasis on now. We're putting more of an emphasis on that mental health because we know that that's something that is grown, that has been, the light has been shined upon. So if, you know, I want to be proactive. I don't want to be retroactive. I don't want to come back behind and say, well, we should have done this. No, let's do everything we can to make sure that these students have what they need.
You know, and I want you to think of this as an extension of your office, right? Fan of yours, but definitely a friend and a supporter of the efforts that you all do. It's like, if we can't get on the flamethrower and connect the dots to make sure that we're getting what we need, God is going to hold me accountable for not being responsible with my platform, right?
Correct.
So it's always an open invitation and whatever we can do to make sure that we have those wraparound services, especially for our kids who are young adults. Yes, they're grown, but to us, they're still babies, and they'll always be our babies. It's our responsibility to do that, you know, and I'd be doing a disservice if it's not even an option that's on the table. So please consider that done. And we just figure it out to connect the dots to make sure that they get what they need. We expect so much out of people, but what are we giving people back when they need it the most?
There you go.
You know?
Yeah. And I don't want to be that director that just had those students there performing and use them like they're robots, like they're not humans.
Yeah.
Just to say, oh, look at me as the director. I always say, may the works I do speak for me and not me speak for the works that I do.
Yeah.
And me and the work that you put into it, it'll come back. And I don't look for an award from man.
Yeah.
My ultimate reward, I just want to make sure that I fulfill my purpose and do whatever it is that God intended for me to do. So that's why I say my platform, I was, you know, I'm going to utilize it to get the resources that I can for these students that I know I'm pouring into young people, that because you can't never forget your why.
Yeah.
You know, my why was to pour into so many young people across the world. And if that's what I'm going to do, I got to continue to find ways and resources. And even when people say no, that's not the end all. Like, you know, there's someone out here that's going to get these things for these students. And we behind the 8-ball and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Like, if you see all these students in the band, you would think that we got at least one kid on a full scholarship. We have nobody on the full scholarship.
Wow. Wow, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah, most definitely. But I told the students, if you invest in yourself, someone will invest in you.
Yeah.
And when one of the state representatives called and he said, look, we want to give you all $200,000. And he's like, you do whatever you want with it. Little did they know, I went $250,000 over my budget.
Wow.
Because these young people wanted to come to Southern University. I'm like, I'm going to find the money somewhere. And he just called out the blue and
God heard.
Yeah, there you go.
God heard. And he filled that void.
But it was because the students are pouring into themselves, and other people, he'll find the people that you least expect to pour into the students as well.
Yeah.
And there you go. Senator Fields called and said, hey, I saw the uniforms. We're going to put this money in to get you guys some new uniforms. Yes. So as small as that may seem to some, that's big to us because we see the students in the uniform. We're like, man, we hope they don't get on camera. But we always want to hide the things that you know, that we want to hide from people, to not let them know what's really going on, because we don't want people to know that we really don't have. But I think people need to know that we don't have, because it'll get so that the students in a different light, like they still showing up every day.
It's the level of transparency that people need, you know. And now with social media, everybody's living their best filtered life. Ain't nobody really know, you know, like real life does not exist anymore. In 140 characters, you can be the best, whatever you want to be, 60 seconds of sheer perfection. But man, who are you when these lights stop rolling, when these mics cut off, when these cameras go? Like, are you at peace with yourself? Are you okay with just being in the corner without having to jump through the hoops for the people? Like, it's a tough time. And as adults, we have a hard time with that, right? So imagine, imagine as a kid, as a teen, as a young adult, life out here, life.
Oh, yeah, it is. And I mean, we hear the students come and tell their stories all the time. And sometimes I'm in awe because I can't believe that someone would treat that, child like that. Because, I mean, I'm thankful that I have both my parents and they both, I said we had the Cosby Show house, but we definitely didn't have a Cosby Show house. My dad, he sacrificed a lot for us. Like I was a kid, he was cleaning people's buildings and stuff because they job on strike. Yeah. And, people not knowing, and as kids, we didn't know because he always provided for us.
That's it.
Even when you asked for stuff on Christmas, they found a way to get it for you, not knowing that.
The sacrifices that were being made.
The sacrifice. But then now that you're older and you look back and you're like, I remember waking up in the middle of the night going to pick him up, and it's like I had to go to school and I was mad that I had to get up. But you're not knowing what's going on around you. So I think the sacrifice that my parents made, it made me really appreciate, and I try to give them anything that I have. And I try to, get them to enjoy the things that they brought us to. And I like the Bible class, I'm like, I need to find a way to get my parents down here on the floor, because it's the various thing. We were sitting at the top in the Battle of the Bands or the Bayou Classic game where my dad probably couldn't afford the tickets at the bottom, but we still were able to go and enjoy the experience.
And that exposure that he gave because he was pouring into you and the family.
But you got to think about it. I was actually in the game. Some people didn't even make it to the Superdome, period.
That's true.
They never even seen New Orleans. They come from different places where it's the first time for me. We like, hey guys, y'all act like you've been here before now. But when you think about it, really, realistic, they haven't been there.
Haven't, bro. I mean, no, they haven't.
And so we try to let them enjoy it. And we try to make opportunities where these students can travel the world. I know my first time flying was when I came to Southern University.
Really?
We went to Indianapolis.
Okay.
We went to Indianapolis, played in Circuit City Classic, played Alabama A&M. I can remember going on the elevator and we ran into Too Short.
What?
like Too Short.
The whole experience is just getting better. Get out of here.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, for someone like myself coming from Mobile and, you like, wow, Too Short? Like, just like that? This close on the elevator?
Right.
Well, we're going to make a big difference. You're a freshman. You like,
trying to play it cool.
Yeah, trying to play it cool.
But it is what it is. Like, what's up?
Yeah, but I mean, you don't get those opportunities. I think the most disheartening thing that I can tell you, though, Dr. Griggs, I was a freshman and Beyonce was supposed to come and do something with us.
Okay.
And Dr. Griggs said,
oh, wow.
Ain't nobody gonna make no money out of me. We say, Doc, it's Beyonce. She was still with Destiny Child, so she wasn't nearby as big as she is now. But it was like, Doc, she just made this song Crazy in Love.
Can we play that right quick?
We just want to come. Let's let her come do Crazy in Love for us.
Please.
He said, no, you ain't listening. But the thing I admired about him that I wish that we can adapt more, he understood the brand.
He did. And he didn't sacrifice that brand either.
He wasn't sacrificing
for nobody. Now, hold on a second. I got to give you this story, and please don't let it leave here. I ain't going to tell nobody else because, it hurts my heart to even still tell this story. I love me some Dr. Griggs. I really do. My mama was a majorette. She twirled, I twirled, and I was like, Doc, I really want to twirl for the band. He was like, ain't nobody slanging no sticks in my band. You go out there, I'm coming over here slanging no sticks in my band. It's not a stick, Doc. It's not a stick. I just not. Yeah. Oh, I left that day in tears, but it was all in love, and I respected him and loved him so much for that. I mean, he understood his brand. That was not the move. It was not the. It was not the wave.
But that's so true though. Today, I think people see the band and they don't realize how huge that brand is.
Yeah.
And they get upset with me when I say, "Well, we can't do this event and I don't want to say we can't do it because it's not big enough for the band's platform, but you're not going to ask Beyonce to come to the hole in the wall. You know, you can't say, can the band come perform in my backyard for my husband? He loved the band. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
see him Saturday in Mumford.
Yeah, like that part. Like, can you come to our elementary school? Man, these students don't even know who the jukebox is. Like, get a high school band. It'll be just as good, you know. And I think the people don't understand how much this band do and has done over the whole United States. Like, this band has performed internationally. Like,
and even how much it takes to move this band.
That part.
Make it really make sense.
Oh, you don't even want to talk about it.
I don't.
You don't want to talk about that. Just to go to Jacksonville is $101,000.
I'm sorry?
$101,000.
To do who now? Jacksonville down the street.
Man, yeah, that stuff is expensive.
I bet.
But the cost of living has gone up, and they want to keep you with the same money that you've been making for the last 20 years. But the economy has superseded that by a lot. So it's like moving that band it costs a lot. So when I tell people like this is what it costs to get the band, it's like they won't even call you back. It's like, y'all can't do it for we'll pay for the buses and we'll feed you. Come on, man.
And we'll feed you.
That part. We're gonna feed you some red beans and rice. But
maybe
need more juice in the beans.
Right. Talking about I love the thought process. Not really love to help you out, but help me help us. Because it's a necessity, right? And we don't want to pimp the band. No, that's not what we want to do.
That's what it turned into, though.
Yeah, I know. And that's got to be a tough position for you, too.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You know, because you want to go. You want to give them the exposure. And, I mean, I was recently at one of the games on the yard, and I saw two of these high school bands performing, and that just made my heart smile. Because I understood what it did for those students, right? Mm-hmm. They got to experience being on the field where the Human Jukebox performs. You know, and then they're doing this in this massive stadium, but that's like a recruiting tool because now if they didn't want to come to Southern, I mean, you can't avoid Southern at this point. They came out there, their drum majors were showing out. They had their dancing dolls doing the most. Their band was playing probably harder than they've ever played. Yeah. Because now I got to do something all the way over here. The rappers, people got to hear me now.
I would put my legs up a little higher than I ever did. They looking at me.
They still sore right now trying to figure it out. I mean, that was so amazing, right?
Yeah, man. The crazy thing is the first school that performed was my old high school.
Get out of here.
Yep,
and they did an amazing job, too.
But they got a lot of notoriety for it. I sent it to the band director. They were like, you know, the band, they were on the news and everything. So, you know, that was big for those students because I know the area. And I mean, like I said, a lot of students don't make it out.
Yeah.
You know, our Val in our class, you know, didn't go to college. Had grades, everything. It's just a mindset, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, but being able to go and see something different, it can light a fire under some people.
Absolutely.
To where they don't, you know, have to live in poverty. Like there is better out there. Like, you know, this is not the end. And you go, let's go and make something happen. You know. Right. So by them coming to see Southern University Human Jukebox, the smile on their face when the band was playing, it made my heart smile. You know, because I feel like that's what we do it for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, recently we've had a title change, you know. It went from Mr. Taylor to Dr. Taylor. I'm not just going to just slide past that Dr. Taylor. Congratulations. And I say that because, you know, the elevation of not being comfortable in where you are, being that you're already at the highest of the highest of the highest, because this is the standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yet it's still about self-improving and wanting to make an impact on those students. I mean, I admire you even more for that. And congratulations. I'm just proud of you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Nobody knows how difficult it is, you know, to do all of that and definitely get a degree when, you know, as a kid, I was told you wasn't even going to be able to make it to Southern. And it's kind of like to lead the band. I never take that for granted. I never, you know, I try to seize every opportunity because, you know, it don't happen for everybody, you know, and when you get that opportunity, and I tell students, we all passing by, you know. You never know when your last chance to do this. So it's like every time that I get to do it, I want to make it like it was my last time. Yeah. So you want to take advantage of every time that you do it because you never know.
You never know.
You never know. So for me, I'm smiling ear to ear inside when I hear the students. It still give me chills to hear those sounds come out of that band. Like, if you see me in the band room, you'll think I'm crazy.
Oh, that's a
The
field trip
students, they
waiting to
got-
happen.
oh,
Because
man.
you know what? We already know there's a level of insanity that's there. But when it all comes together, I want to be there for that moment when they
I'm
finally
jumping
stop
off
squealing.
chairs.
No, sir.
I'm jumping off chairs. I'm jumping in chairs. I mean, I can feel it all in my toenails.
That's it. That's not, now they listening.
Oh no, but now I'm jumping because the music. It when you're on the computer and you writing music, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But to have the students play the music, that's another thing. But to bring the music to life, that's why I say every note has a meaning. I want you to make me feel that note.
Yeah.
Not just play the note. I want you to make me feel it. You know, like them singers that when they just start singing,
Mm-hmm.
you can feel it.
Yeah.
As opposed to somebody that just sounds good.
Right. He said I needed to do that every time.
Needed to make me like, when I hear my mom sing, I kid you not, everybody like, boy, your mama know she could break a church down.
What?
Man, she sounds like, they used to call her a songbird. Like, she sung at so many funerals. I think I done went to so many. When I was a kid, I had to tag along because I'm the baby of the family. So
that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, no.
That
Take it back. Take it back.
I'm sorry. I can't take that one back, Doc. I apologize in advance.
But, hey, listen. No, seriously. So, as she sings, it almost brings tears to your eyes.
Yeah, that's that passion behind it. The
Yeah.
calling, it's an anointing.
Oh, man.
There's a difference.
And so when she sings, it's like you gotta just listen. Like all my old friends, like, man, your mom's still singing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think she is. And so like I have a recording that she'll just leave on my voicemail if she don't get to talk to me. And I was like, man, my mom trying to make me cry this morning.
Oh.
But that's the kind of feeling that I want the band to have on people when they hear us play.
Absolutely.
Don't just play the black and white on the paper. Make these notes move because these notes are telling a story.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote these notes and they were going through something.
Well,
And you know, when that stuff come together, if you don't move, it's just like church. How you gonna sit on the side of me and hear the same thing I just heard and you don't move? You know what I'm saying? Like you sitting there, like, come on,
come on now.
Yeah,
Didn't you just hear that? Don't you feel that?
Yeah, that's how I am when I'm teaching. I'm like, y'all don't hear that? And then they like, yeah. And they just start getting excited there. But I'm like, y'all ain't hear it. Y'all missed it. But that's why you're teaching them. Yeah. And that way they can go and recreate that in other places. So now that's what you're pouring into them to go and pour into other young people and let them know you can believe even through music. You can believe that, hey guys, we started here, but look what we got to. Like we started where we didn't even know what we were doing. But now that we finished this, look where we are now.
Levels and layers. That's what that is.
Levels and layers. I like that. Levels and layers.
Levels and layers. I love it. And you know, this is your first field trip to the madhouse. I demand that it's not your last. I show up in tears if you tell me this is the last one. Like, wait. I've been practicing. Wait, did you feel that? That was that dramatic pause. No?
What's the next movie coming into town? Because you got a star in it. They should have put you on The Color Purple too.
You know what? Maybe the third one I'll be there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like The Color Purple / Hot Pink or
next
something.
Next time Fantasia come through, we're going to say, hey, come on, you got to put my girl down.
That's the teamwork I need in my life. That's
teamwork make the dream work.
Make the dream work. Like, duh. You know what? All season long, we are there because you were elevating it. We taking it up next level. Right now, my funny Valentine is going to be real hard for y'all to top, right?
Oh, no.
But hold on a second. I know. I didn't want you to have the responsibility of coming up with the request sheets.
Oh.
So this is my request list right here.
Oh.
Right? And don't worry about it. This is part 1.
Oh.
So by the end of the season, I have the rest of my request sheets for you. Okay? So just take this and do what you want.
I love it. Join my emails.
Right? I ain't talking about spam.
It's funny because somebody else see your song and be like, let me go listen to it. And I'm thinking like, you probably the only one in the stadium want to hear this.
The only one that's gonna move. One person in the stadium in tears. That's my song. Like, what is going on up in here?
I'll tell you the funniest thing. I wrote a few years ago. I wrote the Preacher's Wife song. And we played it, and everybody was just like, wow. Mm-hmm. They was like, man, you got to play that again. We played it again and it didn't have the same.
Somebody was just that
it's like one of the, hey, you can't keep doing it over and over. But we played it that time, and I mean, it had an effect like none other. And we tried to play it again, and then they had the same feeling. They're like, man, you need to play that for the classic. I'm like,
nah,
man, trying to get me booed.
You need better friends. They trying to told you. Who setting us up?
They trying to set me up. They were like, man, don't listen to them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I think as fans, some people like different things, and that's what makes this job difficult. Because the range of audience of people, you got the student body who's on the new stuff. You got the older crowd that's been following the Jaguar Nation since the peak days, and then you got the people that was there before that,
Right. And then whenever you start talking about like some of those old schools and those classics, you got to realize that now old school is like new school, because our old school ain't the same old school. I was talking to some students the other day. She was like, yeah, I listen to old school, like, Brandy, Monica. I was like, hold on, first of all, that ain't old school. I'm talking about I need some Barry White, my first, my last fight. I want to hear them horns blaring. But that's one of the requests that's in here. It's like 1,000 songs in here.
Everybody in my era, they're going to be mad at you because that's one of Dr. Greg's favorite.
I need to hear that. Do you hear me? That one right there?
They go like, man, what's wrong with you? You to pull that back out?
Listen, knock the dust off that thing. Do you hear me? That is everything, and then some. And sometimes between now and 2030.
So when I watch Money Talks, it makes me think about that.
Sometimes between now and 2030. Come on, Dr. Taylor. Sometime between now and 2030. What is this? 2023?
Yeah.
You got time. I ain't putting you in no rush.
We can crank that thing back up.
That's all I ask of thee. All I ask of thee.
But I'm definitely, every time I see Money Talks, that's the first song come on. Chris took in the car. Boom, 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 boom.
That's my mama jam there. I told you. Right?
We take it for granted, but I think people do look for those type of moments. Like, I was telling the guys, homecoming is like one of those times where people really come back and they want to be, remember the time when I was on the yard.
Yeah. Melting pot.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, I remember we did that. Yeah. It gets them excited. It gets them going. And that's what I got into that this year and last year. I said, guys, I'm more on not just doing a halftime show, but putting on a show.
That's it. We are the entertainment because we are the standard.
So, people want to see you put on a show. I don't know if they appreciate the drills as much as they did back when, my time marching, but...
Educate them, they will.
There you go. So
I'm listening.
But, yeah. So we get short of time now, so it's like, you got to
get
out.
Who's in charge of that?
Well, the NCAA have these.
Who I need to call? We need to back somebody?
Yeah, that's just like, like I tell them all the time, y'all think we really practice all week to come to the game not to be able to play? So
what you think I'm here for?
It's rules in place, so we have to follow those rules. And as the band director, I'm not on Facebook because people have a lot of opinions.
Okay,
they get behind the keyboard and type all kind of stuff. But the reason I'm saying that is because there are a lot of rules that the fans don't know about.
Right.
Like you can't play when the ball they coming up to the line of scrimmage. You can't play, and people don't know that. A lot of people just don't know that. They think because when we win the band. We ain't stopped. If it's fourth and goal, the band blasting to get them outside. And I think that's why they changed the rules because the opposing band will play so loud while the other team is trying to, hike the ball and they can't hear.
Okay.
And they get thrown offside. So they saying, it's not fair.
It's not fair because their band can't do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that part. But it is what it is.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
I know it. And you know what? I really appreciate you so much for taking time out of your schedule because I know that you are busy and 'tis the season to just take it up another notch. We will be in the stands. We will be on the road. We will be waiting on homecoming. We will be looking forward to the Battle of the Bands. We will be there for Bayou Classic, all of the parades. Man, wait a minute now. Y'all got a grueling parade schedule too. Like it is nonstop until when? Like February or March for you. Like this is wild.
It don't stop.
It don't stop. Turn the beat up. Let's get it done.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, I know you got more work to do, so I'm going to let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Thank you. I love you, too.